Tussen April en Junie van 1820 het omtrent 4000 Britse settelaars in die Kaapkolonie aangeland. Die doel was om die grens tussen die Kaap en die Xhosa-nasie te versterk. Dit was een van die grootste Britse nedersettings in Afrika in daardie tyd. Die settelaars is plase toegeken in wat vandag as die Oos-Kaap bekend staan. Maar baie van hulle het vanweë 'n gebrek aan landboukennis hulle plase verlaat en hulself in plekke soos Graamsstad, Oos-London en Port Elizabeth gaan vestig. Nou, omtrent 200 jaar later, is daar 'n ander poging om in hierdie streek te boer. Hierdie keer is dit nie op land nie, maar in die see. Visboerdery. Sommige mense voel egter dat net soos daardie 1820 settelaars nie die nodige ondervinding gehad het om te kon boer nie, 'n grootskaalse visboerdery vlak by Port Elizabeth 'n swak deurdenkte plan is.
This is a really, really bad idea.
Disbelief, I think, quite quickly turned to anger.
Our conditions are not conducive for what is proposed.
I mean, I think against a fish farm, but if they could place it somewhere else.
Grootskaalse visboerdery is nog in sy kinderskoene in Suid-Afrika, terwyl varswaterspesies soos forel al vir jare lank geteel word in damme, bestaan grootskaalse see-gebaseerde visplase nie juis nie. In Suid-Afrika het die meeste seevisserye nou hul maksimum volhoubare vangste bereik en die enigste uitweg vir groei is akwakultuur.
Ons voorraad van vis, van natuurlike bronne van visserye kan nie meer word nie. Jy weet, die visserye is maksimaal ongun nou al vir 20 jaar. So die laaste 2 dekades kan ons net meer vis kry van visboerdery. So ons het nou begin wêreldwyd om meer vis te boer. En dit het nou gegroei tot omtrent 2/3 van ons visvoorraad is nou van visboerdery. En in Suid-Afrika is ons agter. Jy weet, meeste van ons vis kom nog steeds van visserye en ons voer nou meer en meer vis in. Elke sushi wat jy eet met salm is ingevoerde vis.
Hierdie is die perseel vir die voorgestelde visplaas. Nou volgens die omgewingsimpakstudie of die OES sal dit 35 hokke van ongeveer tussen 20 en 30 meter in deursnee verg vir hierdie boerdery om lewensvatbaar te wees. Elke hok sal gemiddeld so wat 85 ton vis hou, 15 meter diep onder die oppervlak wees en 1 tot 2 meter omtrent tot hier daarbo uitsteek. Groot kwellinge word uitgespreek oor die impak van die visboerdery op die sensitiewe rotsriwe wat naby aan die voorgestelde plaas voorkom. Dr. Shirley Parker Nance is 'n rifvis-spesialis wat verbonde is aan 'n plaaslike duikorganisasie wat ook negatief deur die voorgestelde visplaas beïnvloed sal word. Okay, so this is the first point of the proposed fish farm closest to shore.
Yes, this is the closest to shore. This is directly behind the bellbuoy. This would be the first part of the surface footprint for the Algoa Bay North section.
And what do we have under the water here? I mean, do we have reefs in the vicinity?
We have the reef systems coming up from the beach right up to bellbuoy. There's a large variety of fish, but our concern at this moment is also the animals that grow on the reef. So our reefs are very high in biodiversity. We have every centimeter of the reef has got animals growing on it. Sponges, ascidians, bryozoans, soft corals, and it's prolific here. When you put these baskets on and you start feeding fish, I don't know if you've ever had some goldfish in a little bowl on your table as a child, and you feed them. And after a week, the water gets really cloudy and you have to clean it because you thought they were hungry and they seem to eat, but there's always some of the food and the fecal matter at the bottom. And what do? You take your fish out, you clean it, and you put your fish in and they're happy again. Now here you have an open basket that's just putting all these nutrients, excess food and fecal matter into the ocean directly, not cleaned, not filtered. It just falls to the bottom. So you have a sponge and you cover it with organic silt. It can't live anymore, it can't work, it will die. And it will actually just also start being a problem. It will be part of the pollution problem then, because it cannot maintain or clean the excess stuff that's put in by humans to feed these predatory fish.
Daar's baie faktore wat in ag geneem moet word wanneer mense 'n visplaas in die oop see wil bou. Vat nou maar byvoorbeeld watertemperature, weeromstandighede, seestrome en natuurlik die impak op die omgewing van so 'n struktuur. Al hierdie faktore en nog baie meer moes in die omgewingsimpakstudie in ag geneem word vir 'n visplaas naby die swemstrande van Port Elizabeth. Hoeveel terreine in Algoa Bay is in ag geneem tydens die samestelling van die omgewingsimpakstudie?
Weet jy, ons het gekyk na 6 in Algoa Bay self en daar was 2 in die St. Francis Bay area, waarvan hulle toe deur die loop van die omgewingsimpakstudie proses is van hulle geëlimineer en ons het op 'n ander verder gelos met 2 wat ons hoofterreine was wat ons ondersoek het.
Wat is as die mees geskikte terrein beskou?
Ons verwys daarna as Algoa 1. Dis 'n gedeelte net so van Summerstrand, so eentjie 2 km in die see in. Die ander gedeelte was Algoa 5 wat nader in die area was wat as 'n marine beskermde area aangedui is. So Algoa 1, as jy die 2 teenoor mekaar vergelyk, het baie beter uitgekom as Algoa 5.
Wat sal die ontwikkeling behels? Hoe groot gaan dit wees? Hoe gaan dit lyk?
Weet jy, vir die areas wat ons nou geïdentifiseer het as die mees geskikte, die Algoa 1, die groter gedeelte is ongeveer 660 hektaar. Die strukture wat jy binne-in gaan sien is konsentriese sirkels op die oppervlak. Hulle is so 1 na 2 meter hoog, so dis 'n bietjie korter as 'n gemiddelde man. En dan het jy 'n net wat fisies afhang in die see in ongeveer 15 meter diep. So dit wat jy op die oppervlakte gaan sien is baie beperk, maar jy het 'n groter footprint aan die onderkant waar jy wel dit moet vasanker aan die seebodem.
Vir wie is die voorgestelde visplaasontwikkeling?
Die departement visserye is die aansoeker vir die omgewingsimpakstudie. So die omgewingsmagtiging as dit uitgereik word sal aan hulle uitgereik word.
This project is not an isolated activity. This is a continuation. Some 5 years ago, when we used to have a Department of Environmental Affairs and Tourism, a study was commissioned by the then DIT to identify areas, land-based and sea-based, areas that would be suitable for fish farming. So the Eastern Cape was one of the sites.
In 2013 het die Nelson Mandela Bay toerisme-owerhede 'n groei van 7% in toerisme gerapporteer wat die sektor se bydrae tot die plaaslike ekonomie tot by omtrent R290 miljoen gestoot het. Daar is vrese onder mense in die toerismebedryf dat 'n visplaas naby die hoofswemstrande 'n negatiewe impak op toerisme kan hê. Kerry Wright is 'n plaaslike sakevrou en 'n aktiewe lid van die Branderplankgemeenskap.
We have a really fantastic bay. I mean, it's by no means pristine, but we certainly have areas of it that are fantastic. For instance, our main beachfront area. We're blessed with some really good waves, some fantastic ocean life. You can see some dolphins out there. So, yeah, as a surfer, the beach is really important to us.
How would you feel, let's just say in a couple of years, when you look out here and you look into a fish farm?
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously something that raises a fair bit of emotion.
From here, where exactly is this fish farm going to be built?
If you have a look out here, what you can see just off the horizon is what's called the bellbuoy. That's about 2 k's offshore, and the proposed fish farm, the western sort of edge of it, is going to start just about 150 meters on the other side of that bellbuoy, and it's going to extend pretty much as far as the eye can see down towards Cape Recife, and also pretty much as far as the eye can see towards in line with the edge of the P Harbour, which is about 3 k's in that direction. It's a really big extent. You're going to see it from anywhere along our main beachfront areas.
Sy hou die Branderplankgemeenskap op hoogte van die verwikkelinge rondom die visplaas deur middel van haar gewilde webwerf, Miller's Local. Dit is duidelik dat die branderplankryers nie die ontwikkeling op hul voorstoep wil hê nie. Ek het besluit om 'n klein groepie plaaslike branderplankryers bymekaar te kry om te hoor hoe hulle oor hierdie voorgestelde visplaas voel. Guys, are you aware of the proposed fish farm 2 kilometers offshore?
Yes, we're quite upset about the whole thing too. You know, it's going to destroy the swell coming in, and also what about the pollution? And then, of course, the sharks could attract sharks as well with the food that they're feeding to the fish. So.
I mean, you surf here on a daily basis. How do you feel about it?
Well, obviously it's not a great thing for us, you know, having to obviously worry about the increase in shark activity with all the feedback that will come off those fish farms. So, yeah, we're not really happy about it. And as far as what it will do to the water conditions, I don't think it's great for tourism as a whole here in Port Elizabeth. We've got a couple of blue flag beaches which everybody likes to come in and use, and I think that's going to affect it quite severely.
What kind of impact could a fish farm have on the sharks in Algoa Bay?
You know, it's a hard one to answer, but to date, we have detected 20 different acoustically tagged white sharks on 3 of our receivers, which are located pretty much on the inshore site where the cage farm is proposed. Now, presently, the data tells us that the white sharks are transient, they're not resident. So in other words, the white sharks are moving fairly rapidly past Algoa Bay. They're not spending very much time here. Now, the introduction of a fish farm, which the white sharks would view as a source of food, could potentially cause the white sharks to spend a longer amount of time in Port Elizabeth, and it could also attract additional white sharks. Now, more white sharks spending a greater amount of time in the area, logically, it would suggest that the probability then of someone encountering a white shark would increase.
What mitigation measures would be needed to ensure the safety of both the surfers and the swimmers if the sharks did in fact spend a longer time in a specific area?
I would say that the only way to do that would be to shut down the fish farm. I don't see how you could, I don't know of any mitigation strategies that we could employ to keep the fish farm and somehow stop the sharks spending a greater amount of time in the area.
'n natuurlike verskynsel waarvan die omvang nog nooit in hierdie streek gesien is nie, het in middel Januarie plaasgevind. Dit het die waters van Knysna tot in Port Alfred rooi-bruin verkleur. Hierdie organismes wat so rooi getyn veroorsaak is fitoplankton en is net 2 mm lank. Dit is iets wat die samestellers van die omgewingsimpakstudie nie in ag kon neem tydens hulle opname nie. Hierdie skouspelagtige foto's is deur Karen Anker geneem en wys hoe die klein organismes 'n magiese nagvertoning lewer deur neonblou te skyn soos die branders breek. So mooi soos hierdie foto's is, kan rooi getye dodelike gevolge vir die see en enige voorgestelde visplaas inhou. Does red tide have an impact on finfish?
It depends on obviously the species that is blooming at the time. Some are toxic, some are not toxic. The toxic ones would generally have an effect on finfish over a period of time when they would ingest the toxins. The more common phenomenon that happens is deoxygenation of the water, where fish would basically asphyxiate.